She is a highly enthusiastic person with a positive outlook and curious mind. An entrepreneur, leader, engineer, and most importantly, someone who cares deeply for the society. She loves to work on new ideas, and currently, she and her business partner are working on their company, Octave Automation, which is focused on empowering elderly with technology. In addition, they run online courses that bridge the gap between elderly and technology. She is also a part of Be an Angel Foundation that works towards uplifting and mentoring entrepreneurs, underprivileged kids, and people willing to pursue careers in arts and sports but have money constraints. Today, let us know more about Vanshika Chanderiya and her insights about turning ideas into reality.
Hello. Hi there. Welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. The Guiding Voice for a Better Future. This podcast is to help professional students, IT employees, and entrepreneurs to shape their careers. Dear listeners, in every episode, we interact with industry experts or thought leaders or academicians or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations that will help each one of you learn great things. Also, we share an interesting trivia or a fun fact about the IT world or technology towards the end. So stay tuned till the end. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your host Naveen Samala and I with my co-host Sudhakar Nagandla. So folks, as Sudhakar mentioned, today we are going to discuss a topic building an idea into a brand. Sounds exciting, isn't it? And we are pleased to welcome Vanshika to our show. Thanks again, Vanshika, for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe.
Vanshika, welcome to TCV. Can we get started?
Yes, I'm so glad and I'm so excited to be here.
The pleasure is all ours to host you. Thank you for taking time.
Thank you, thank you.
So, Vanshika, can we talk briefly about your career journey? How did it all start?
Yeah, sure. I am an engineer by degree, but I'd say an entrepreneur by heart. So, I just got graduated, like my graduation completed in 2021 only. Don't, I'm not done with my convocation yet. But it was more like I was always drawn towards technology in the sense that it's going to develop in future and it's always going to be about technology. So I started my journey with pursuing BTech in computer and communication engineering from Manipal University. And it happened so that in my first year only, I realized that I am more drawn towards business and basically towards entrepreneurship side. So first year itself, I started exploring internships in the business domain, getting some experience. I spent my second, third year totally in technology, learning technology. And that happened to shape so that now we are running a technology company. And finally, in 2019, I met this guy who is my business partner now. And we both had the same mindset. So we started our home automation company, and which is Octave Automation today. And yeah, that is what it's been. And it's been pretty great.
Wow,
Yeah.
a startup in second year of engineering. I'm actually thinking what I was doing in my second year engineering.
I think it's a lot of people's story nowadays. People are starting early.
So
Yeah.
cool. So, Vanshika, building an idea into a brand, can you share your experience on this? Because, if you started something at this young age, in second year, you have started a startup. I'm not sure when you talk about experience, what is the experience I am asking you about. But yeah, let me give it a try.
Great. Technically, we've worked on four ideas, as in to literally bring it to life. And one of them is not existing right now, three of them are. So, what I have realized about this is that there is this journey from idea to brand, but it's not same for everyone. So, we also started with reading a lot of blogs, learning a lot of things about turning it into a brand. And from my experience on working all the ideas, it doesn't always go in the same way. Because if you are someone who's trying to, bring an idea which is unique enough and which you believe is not there out in the world, so there is no way that you can find a roadmap to it online. You have to experience it and you have to explore it. So building a brand, I would say that is not a roadmap that you can follow. Okay, so it will be like you find an idea, you do lot of research, and you find what are the existing businesses that intersect with. Even 5% if they intersect with your idea, you do case study, you do deep research on that. And then with all that information, you build a roadmap for your idea to be. So that is what I have realized. And I'd like to add one more thing. We had two different businesses. One was in the domain of, I'd say, digital marketing, and one was in the domain of e-commerce. So for both of them, we started with the same brand strategy. So what we did was we decided the idea and we started to create a brand for it because we wanted to be out there with that brand. So for MyFog, which is one of the digital marketing companies, it worked pretty well because for that kind of an idea, you know what is to be done. So you are out there, you build a brand. But for another idea, which is not currently out there, we started with the branding. We have the trademark for that name, the logo and everything. But it happens so that, we even developed the application. But it happens so that it's not there now. So the money actually that we invested, it is an investment. We learned a lot, but there is a right time for every kind of business to, start with idea and brand. Yeah.
Very inspiring thoughts at such a young age. And in fact, the first time I came across your profile on Coffee Mug itself, I was very impressed, and I've gone through. Yeah, and your LinkedIn profile, I saw a quote which really caught my attention. It says it's not about
Mhm.
ideas, it's about making ideas happen. So that seems to be your mantra. Can you elaborate on it?
Yes, definitely. So, this is something I tell to myself because I am the kind of person who's very curious and who's buzzing with ideas. But what happens is you cannot always go on and experiment everything. But I believe you should also make sure that, if you see a problem and if you see a need there and you have an idea that you can cater to. So, we cannot wait for someone who will someday create that solution and it will be done, right? So, what my ideology is that if I have the bandwidth to bring an idea to life, I always put in the time and effort because I don't want to depend that someone will come and solve that problem for everyone around us. And with that, a lot of things happen that, you do not know whether the idea will turn into a great idea to a great company. But I believe that until and unless you try, like until and unless you invest the time and put in the effort, you will never know, right? So I think, and if you try to make it happen, you will may fail, like you might fail, but then the result of it will be exponential growth on the personal side. You will learn a lot, you grow a lot. So there is no downside to it.
Quite an amazing stuff that you are sharing with. And yeah, as you rightly mentioned, there is no someday or someone, okay, who is going
Yes.
to execute that for you, and we have to just roll up our sleeves and get started. So what a
Yes.
wonderful thought process out there. And now I would like to seek your opinion in terms of what do
Mhm.
the startups make mistakes, in terms of what are some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs make when they are trying to build their ideas into a brand.
Right. There are few things which I personally have seen that even I repeated for myself. Even when we made that mistake, we repeated it. So it's hard to realize. But the first and foremost would be that do not follow roadmap. Like I mentioned, you have a unique idea. It is your business. You have to explore and find the roadmap to reach to that particular stage when your company is ready for branding. So what goes in is you have an idea, you explore what all is out there, you do intense research. Research would be the number one thing that you should put your time into, and then you validate your idea. So what a lot of people do is we get attached to our ideas and we do not validate it as such. Now I'm not saying that take your idea, put it out there for the world to see it, because that also wouldn't be the right way. But at least, float a form, do some research, survey, at least 50 to 100 people minimum to validate that, okay, this is going to happen and this is going to work on the outer world. Once you are done with that stage, I believe that is when the branding process comes in. Then you start building a name, a logo, which brings me to the other thing that a brand should have some essence, like some soul to it, because there are so many companies, but if you do not feel connected to them, or if you do not feel that belongingness, then you don't know, it's not going in the right direction maybe. But when there is an essence, when you kind of attach a mission and a vision, and people see that, okay, this is what their process is and this is what they're wanting to do, so they're on board instantly because they believe in you, they feel that belongingness. So that would be a very good thing to put in into your brand. And last would be, do not put in a lot of money in very early age. Now, the reason being branding needs a lot of money. It does. So, when you're done with that validation, when you have validated your idea, you're on board totally. Your customers, your potential customers are on board totally. Then comes the time when you start having a logo, building a tagline, adding a very fancy color, social media pages, promotion. This all comes after, but validation comes first because branding takes in a lot of money. We personally lost a lot of money in the branding of one of the companies, and it learning experience was there, but it turned out to be just learning experience. So limiting the amount of money that you put in the branding in very early stages. After some time, it's necessary and it's also important. But in the early stages, if you limit that, I think you are good to go.
So first research and validate, have the essence in brand and logo, and
Yes,
most importantly, don't put a lot of money. Thank you, Vanshika. That was
definitely.
really helpful. Tell me one thing. People use this word extensively out of context sometimes, this out of box thinking. Come up with an idea which is completely outside, an alien one. So, do you really think that this out of box thinking is so important and relevant? If yes, can you share any instance that you had this out of box thinking in your life to solve any real time problem?
Yeah, so I personally actually believe in this idea to have out of the box thinking. So, because if it is not out of the box, it is in the box and it's there. So, it's there, then, so in that way. But personally, out of the box for me wouldn't be like exponentially different, like totally different something. But out of the box for me is like different from others. Like you see, there are different brands and they're doing the strategy, it's working for them. A lot of people do use the same strategy, it works for them. Out of the box here would be using a different strategy, being creative with it, and then executing it and then getting the result. So that would be that. I'll give you an example from my personal life. Octave Automation is a home automation company. It is in the technology domain. It automates home and it's totally IoT, Internet of Things. And we came to decide the niche of elderly people for reasons. And so our audience is elderly people. So it is home automation for the elderly. Now, we wanted to brand this, like we were thinking of different ideas through which we can do. So, social media, marketing, everything was there in place. So, I came up with the idea of educating the elderly about technology because, like in nowadays, I believe that even you have must have seen in your life that our parents or grandparents, they come to us, they ask us questions like, okay, how to do this post on Facebook, okay, how to do online shopping, how to buy this on Amazon, or how to do online payment, things like this, very small little things. And the reason is that when they were young or when they were learning, technology was not there as much as it is today. So we have that intuition for it, but they have to ask us to do this. So thinking of this and also thinking the fact that we are catering to this audience of elderly people, we decided to educate and empower them. And then my business partner, we discussed about this idea. So now we are operating in a totally different domain, which is education space. Now what we started like, and like I said, validation is very, very important. So we wanted to validate that we understand there's a need, but are people out there who are willing to learn technology? Like, do they even want to learn? So we, as a part of Octave CSR activity, we started a social campaign. So now in that social campaign, what we did was we reached out to our friends and families only through organic promotion. We got 100 plus people on for the first webinar in the group, and I was only taking the webinar. Excuse me, we taught them about Gmail. We taught them about online shopping, ordering food online, booking a cab for themselves whenever they're going out. So things like that, which actually are making our lives very easy, and we got huge response. I mean, it was we were expecting 10, 15 people, and some people giving us good feedback. Okay, we learned a lot, and it happened so that they are calling us. Okay, we don't even call them for feedback because we don't want to be very spammy. They call us. They're like, "You have amazing webinar. Please take again." They're waiting for Saturdays for the webinar. So now we are actually creating a workshop out of it. So it happened that now we are operating in education space also. So it was that it really helped in the branding. The audience that we wanted to cater to, they know our brand. They know what Octave is. They know what we're doing. And also we are solving a purpose. So we actually created a new revenue stream for us through that workshop. So it happened that way, and I feel it was quite out of the box. Not sure how much, but I believe it lies in that domain.
It definitely is an out of box, right? You can call it as an associated or accessory service, but at the end of the day, you could actually monetize that as well. Amazing. Vanshika, like I was mentioning, I don't know what I was doing the year I completed my engineering. Definitely, I was not even 5% of the smartness that you are as of today, which is amazing.
I
So,
mean, I'm
congratulations
humbled.
on that. So, you started this octave when you were in second year. Now you completed your final year. Of course, the convocation is yet to be completed. So, in these last 2.5 years, we evolve, we mature by experiences, feedback, everything. So, if you were to restart Octave all over again, what is one thing that you would do differently?
Yes, so Octave actually we started in 2019, it's 2021. It took quite a lot of time for us to come to this stage. The reason was that we paused a lot, we did lose the focus. Like I said, we have tried four ideas to bring into life, and that also explains that we lost the focus. So we did lose the focus for different reasons. A lot of time people didn't believe in our idea, so we really took it to our heart because we then again started from zero. Like we have reached to a certain stage, and then when someone questions us, the authenticity of it, the validity of it, we would start from zero. So it took a lot of time for us to reach to this point. Maybe we could have started half an year ago, 6 months ago, we would be in this place. But yeah, so I do what differently I do would be that I will keep myself at pace, also listening to other people, taking the feedback, but not letting it affect my journey in my process.
That's fantabulous, I would say. I think you have a lot of maturity. And while Sudhakar was talking about what he was doing during his third and final year, I am trying to do some introspection at my side as well. I was probably looking at how do I crack a job interview or something, but you have already started up, which is quite amazing, and I'm sure it's going to inspire all the young crowd out there. So I wish you guys a lot of power and lot more energy, okay, to drive
Thank
more
you
and
so
more things
much.
for sure. And this has been a fabulous conversation so far, Vanshika. I would like to
Thank you.
spice it up by asking you a few rapid fire questions if you are ready.
Okay. Yes, yes, definitely.
Wonderful, that's the spirit. And let me fire the first bullet out of my rapid fire. What is the most
Okay.
adventurous thing that you have done so far, Vanshika?
So I joined this meditation course, and it was in Rishikesh. It was a boot camp, 3 days for a boot camp. It was in Rishikesh. It was December's time, okay, and we happened to go to rafting. It was my first time I was doing rafting. Moreover, I love swimming, but I never went out of a pool, as in not even a lake, not even a pond, nothing. I was always having that experience in the swimming pool. So now we're doing rafting. Suddenly, our guide he tells us that whosoever wants to jump into the river, they can jump into the river. I wanted to because I mean I want to experience that, but I was also in a doubt that what if I drown? I don't know swimming that well that I can just swim in a river, okay? And let's not forget it was December, okay? So the water was ice cold, and I decided to jump. I had the life jacket on. I was like, let's see what happens. So I jumped in and I was so excited. New experience, totally new feeling, very happy. My one of my friend who also got into the water with me, there were two boats. We were a group of people. So he started swimming from one boat to other boat, the distance that was between us. And I also like got excited about it. I started following him and it was very cold water. My body got numb for a while. I was like just moving my hands so that there's heat generated in the body because it was so cold. And then I'm calling him for help, please. We need to go back to our boat. It's not happening. We got in and it was a great experience. This was mini adventure. The main adventure was that it got pretty late in the evening for us to end that activity. And the place we were staying in, so in Rishikesh, what happens is puja happens in the late evening time. So they block the roads for traffic reasons. So now that place was some 1 kilometer far. We are wet because we went into the water. It's cold, breeze is coming. There's no sweater because rafting, you do not wear sweaters. And now we are walking in this cold breeze with wet clothes to our place back and also 1 kilometer distance. It was so cold, but what happened at that moment was it was so serene. There's Ram Jhula. We were crossing it. There's water below you. Lights are falling. Reflection is happening. And I totally went into a different headspace. I mean, I didn't realize the distance. It was very cold. I was scared to, catch cold. But it was so serene. I mean, that would be number one that I can think of whenever I think of adventure.
Bone chilling experience, I would say. All right, yeah, that was very funny, and in fact, we have
Yeah.
to push ourselves out of this comfort zone. The other day, we were interviewing a mountaineer, like he has scaled 4 to 5
Wow.
highest peaks. Okay, across
Oh,
India,
wow.
and he
Mhm.
shared his experience, and it was I was getting some this goosebumps and all, and I also spoke about my own rappelling experience when I did it for the first time.
Wow.
It was a 80 feet, just a 80-foot rock, but I was
Okay.
scared, and at that time my daughter was just born and all, and I was thinking, what happens if I fall from this rock? And all, I was completely in that mode.
Yes.
But yeah, once I'm there again, it took a time. It took a while for me in order to take a step back and all. Because once you take the first step, again, it is easy for you to get down. Probably you might have experienced that as well. But yeah, these kind of things actually elevate and boost the confidence levels in us. And yeah, thank you
They
for sharing that.
definitely do. Yes, yes.
Great. So,
Yeah.
Vanshika, moving on to my next one. What is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure. It would be basically the company that we started, so which is not into existence. It was a learning process, but now it's not happening because, like I said, we took feedback from people. We took it to our heart. We really thought that what this one person is saying is all that is going to happen to us. And what, when you truly see the need out there for an idea and you're in the process to implement it, but then you shut it down for some reasons. And even today, we discussed that if it was in existence, what would be happening? Because in daily life, we come to realize its need, and if it would be like come to life, it would be a different place that maybe we'd be in. So that was a very great learning, but that was also failure on our part to not believe in ourselves and to give in to other people's ideas.
That was a good one. Moving to my next question. Right,
Yeah.
what is one hidden talent that Vanshika has and which you would like to disclose with our audience?
Yeah, so this would be a funny one, but I am what we call in Hindi very jugadu. So I can do great jugads. I mean, you tell me to do it, I can do it. Even if I do not know anything about it, even if I do not have any experience, never heard of it. You tell me, I'll get it done. So I think this is what I have cultivated in myself from my childhood. So I had the tendency of getting things done, like find a solution, get it done. So I think I'm very jugadu in that sense.
Wonderful. So you'll get a call after this interview. We need some jugaad for TGV.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. So here comes my next one out of the rapid fire. Okay. What is
Yeah,
one question that you had on your mind and which was never answered so far?
yeah. So this is a serious one, but I started questioning myself this question from when I think I was in class 11, and that was the time I was preparing for JEE. A lot of people do, especially for aspiring for engineering. So a lot of pressure, a lot of studying, everything. So the question that what am I supposed to do? Like I used to believe that you're here for a reason. We are living for a reason. There's a purpose that we can solve. So I used to really think about it, that what I am supposed to do. And I think a lot of people have a great skill set. They work on it. They know. I know a lot of people who know what they want to do. But with me, I had interest in psychology. I had interest in arts. I used to dance, paint, everything. And then I also was inclined towards business because I was always interested in having something of my own. I'm also inclined to social work. So different skill sets, and you're partially good at everything. So I was like, someone please come and tell me this is what you want to do, and I'll just pursue it blindly. That was my thought process a while ago. And I wouldn't say that question is completely answered, but I read a lot of books since then. One of them name would be Man's Search for Meaning, which is a great book. But you get a lot of different perspective towards life. So I think I'm content, but yeah, not sure if that is answered.
Definitely, yeah. It was a very interesting
Yeah.
one. And here comes my
Hmm.
last one for the rapid fire. I know you are too young, but still, what will be your advice to younger Vanshika?
One advice that I still give to myself, and I would tell my younger self also to do, would be keep consistent with whatever you do. Because people who are generally curious, they tend to, including myself, they tend to jump on ideas, jump from places to places, this to that. And if you're not consistent enough, you wouldn't know what results you might get. And a lot of people do not, like, I think this was my case. A lot of people don't stay consistent because they feel that they are going to fail. But then, unless and until you're not consistent, you're already failing, right? So you're making sure that you will fail if you're not consistent. So that would be one thing I think I'll tell my younger self.
Wonderful. That was an extraordinary rapid fire round for sure. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for being candid and so sport. And with that, I would like to
Thank
hand
you so
over
much.
the session back to mainstream over to Sudhakar.
Thank you, Naveen.
Thank
From
you.
fully drenched, serene experience from Haridwar and Rishikesh, nevertheless in December, by the way,
Yeah.
to your Jugadu experience that you want to share with us as well. Naveen, we will take that as pre-approved, so we will continue this conversation after this.
Yeah.
And being, one suggestion about being consistent, which is really amazing, Vanshika. So thank
Thank you.
you for being so sport. So one final question for this session.
Okay.
What is your one piece of advice to those who want to start young like you, early in the life? If someone wants to start something, what is one piece of advice from you?
So I personally feel would be also related to personal experience that I have felt and seen a lot of people do that. People self doubt a lot, and for and the reason that I believe everyone is having amazing ideas, and for a country like India, we have very unique problems, and there are so many creative minds who have unique solutions to them. And also at a point I think where we are at as a country, it is very important to have entrepreneurs, because that not only brings in solution but also brings in employment for other people. And I believe unemployment is the main cause that is pulling India back. So if everyone starts having self confidence and they just go for pursuing their ideas or dreams, I mean, I understand they will fail. It's not necessary that you get your that one success from the first idea, but the growth and the learning, the exposure that you will be getting from going after that one dream, the one pursuit that you have, I think that will really take us forward as community, the person itself forward, and I believe it can change lives. So that would be the thing.
Vanshika, I mentioned this many times in this session, but I would repeat it one more time. At 21, 22 years of age, if you are at this maturity level, I don't know, like Lord Buddha, by the time you turn 30, you can be either the conqueror of the world or maybe the greatest, saint of the world has ever seen. I don't know what all are there for you to achieve. So much of
Beautifully covered.
maturity, so much of clarity in thoughts, and the conviction that you got, Vanshika. I have no doubt that you would climb much bigger heights, and with that great note of you that dream big and have self confidence. We really want to thank you for joining us today. It was a great experience for me. I'm sure Naveen resonates with me when I say this has been an amazing experience for us. Great to see the energy, clarity of thoughts, talking about building an idea into a brand, but life at large. Thank you so much for taking time. Really appreciate it and wishing you nothing but great success.
Thank you so much. I'm just so grateful for being here with you guys on this session. It's been great, great.
All right. So it was really a pleasure hosting you, Vanshika. And thanks again for being part of the TGV's journey in shaping the lives and careers of millions across the globe.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Much appreciated. All right. So it brings us to the trivia segment of today's episode. And folks, today's trivia is about thoughts. And here comes my question. Do you know, on an average, how many thoughts does a human brain think? I know you are thinking, but let me tell you the secret. On an average, we get about 15,000 to 100,000, which is 1 lakh thoughts per day, which is humongous. So we got to be very mindful about what we think, because our thoughts leads to actions. In case if we think positive, we will execute positive thing and stay positive. Interesting, isn't it? Thank you for listening. There is more in store, folks. Stay tuned. Take care. Be safe. Until next time. Bye bye. And we are signing off for today. See you all in the next episode with another wonderful guest.